Welcome to the E-commerce Badassery podcast, the place for scrappy entrepreneurs who want to learn actionable steps and strategies to grow the traffic, sales, and profit in your e-commerce business. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster, a 20-year retail veteran and former brick-and-mortar boutique owner who spent 3 years as the only employee of a 7-figure online store. That shit was crazy. I know exactly how it feels to do all the things, and I'm sharing everything I learned the hard way so you don't have to. I may have started this business by accident, but supporting badass bosses like you lights me the fuck up, and I am so stoked to see you grow. Are you ready, babe? Let's roll. Welcome back to the E-commerce Badassery podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster. Shopify's summer 2025 release went live last week, and we've got some big changes to talk about. While we'll cover the most exciting things, I recommend you read the release page for all of the details. Check the show notes for links to that page, along with a whole bunch of other links and videos that will show the updates we talk about in action. Head to ecommercebadassery.com/330 for all of that. All right, so let's hop right in, and we're going to start with the biggest release, a new theme architecture called Theme Blocks. This is what Shopify's new collection of 10 themes, including the flagship Horizon theme, is based on. Like the introduction of Shopify 2.0, this is a pretty big overhaul of how themes work. Before I dive into the nitty-gritty, let me give you the most important piece of advice in this entire episode. You do not have to upgrade to this new theme architecture unless you already had a theme upgrade on your list this year. Don't let this new release distract you from everything else you've got on your to-do list. Shopify 2.0 is still a thing. It's still supported. And when I spun up a new development store, Dawn is still the default theme that was installed. So again, unless you already had a theme update on the books in 2025, you don't have to make any changes. With that said, let's dive into what makes theme blocks different. Unlike the section-first architecture of Shopify 2.0, blocks are now what themes are built on. The theme will give you a standard set of blocks, for example, image, heading, button, custom liquid. Those blocks can then be used anywhere in your theme. The sections you see in your theme customizer are essentially just preset layouts of those available blocks. Once you add the section to your theme, then you can add any available block to that section as well, even if it wasn't part of the preset. Additionally, because the blocks are independent of the section you added, the block itself can be dragged from one section to another, similar to how your email builder works. Let me talk through a couple of examples. One is something I teach inside of Shopify Secrets, and that allows you to add shoppable products to your blog posts. In a Shopify 2.0 theme, the custom code I give you, you add to the article template. In a theme blocks theme, I really wish they just called it Shopify 3.0. In a theme blocks theme, the article content, the actual blog post, that lives in a block, and then that block gets rendered in the article section. So when you are adding this custom code I give you, instead of editing the article template, you're just editing that individual block. Another example is, think of your side-by-side image and text section. In Shopify Secrets, I teach you how to create a new version of that section so that you can embed a sign-up form from your email marketing platform. This is really great for pre-launches so that you can have all of the important content above the fold. So you have your image on one side, you have your heading text, and then an embedded form, for example. For Shopify 2.0, I teach you how to just create a whole new version of that with a custom liquid block. Now, in some paid Shopify 2.0 themes, your image with text section might already have the option to add a custom liquid block, so you don't need to customize anything. In a theme block theme, because blocks are independent of sections, you can already add a custom liquid block to any section you want. The one thing I will say about this is right now, the only themes that are available on the theme blocks structure are the free Shopify themes. And the custom liquid block doesn't span the entire width of the text section, making your embedded form super small. So in Shopify Secrets, I do show you not necessarily how to create a whole new image with text section, but instead how to create a custom liquid block that will use the full width of its container. So in Shopify 2.0, you create a custom section. In theme blocks, you create a custom block. I know this is a little hard to visualize. Make sure you check the show notes for a video that gives you a glimpse into the theme blocks architecture. And I also put a screenshot of the embedded form width issue I'm talking about. One of the coolest features of these new theme block themes is the AI block generator. Yep. You can use AI inside your theme customizer to create your own custom theme blocks. I was able to create a countdown timer that disappeared when the countdown was over. This could be super helpful to promote a sale or something similar. And because blocks are the building blocks of these themes, that means you create the block once and you can reuse it just like you can reuse sections in your 2.0 store. As cool as this feature is, I will say I can see a lot of us wasting way too much time with it, especially in the beginning. While I was pretty impressed with the countdown timer I was able to create with a very simple prompt, it definitely needed some work in the styling department. It does allow for follow-up prompts, but the tool is not foolproof. You'll definitely fare better if you understand what to ask for. And I also noticed in some cases it created settings that didn't actually work, so it wasn't coded correctly. Point is, I think this is a really cool tool to use in a pinch, but be careful that you don't go overboard with it. Focus on using what's in your theme whenever possible, pay someone to build what you need, or buy something pre-made. Don't get lost in the sauce tinkering because it feels productive, because you could just end up wasting a lot of your time, and your time is worth something. You know what I'm saying? Another reason not to rely on this is that each AI-generated block creates a unique code file. This is great because it gives you direct access to that code for edits, but that likely means it won't carry over when you upgrade to a new version of your theme. Now, I haven't seen anything mentioned either way about these AI-generated blocks specifically and whether or not they'll be included in a theme upgrade, but right now, any custom code doesn't carry over. If it's in your theme customizer, it carries over. If it's new or an edited code file, it does not. So if you were to create a whole bunch of custom blocks, that's a lot of copying and pasting when you upgrade. So what does this new theme architecture mean for any custom sections you've purchased in the past? Well, if you bought pre-made sections from a developer like QuickCode, I'll stick my affiliate link and discount in the show notes. These will work as is on the new theme architecture. When you buy a section like this, in order for the developer to make it compatible with all themes, all the necessary code will live in one section file. It's not reading anything from your theme defaults. So the section doesn't have to be coded to work with the individual theme blocks in order to function. Sure, you won't be able to add blocks to those custom sections like you can the default sections that come with your theme, but they're still going to render and function the same way as they do on 2.0 themes. For the custom sections I give you in Shopify Secrets, for example, adding shoppable products to your blog post or creating a scheduled banner that shows and hides on a timer, these are created differently. Instead of me giving you fully built out sections that include all the layout and styling in one file, I show you how to duplicate and customize existing sections from your theme This way, all of the styling and layout already match the theme you're using, and you don't have to spend time trying to get them to look the same. Because of this, the way my custom sections are implemented will be different on a theme blocks theme versus a 2.0 theme. So yes, the way you're going to build them is a little bit different, but the updates are still super simple to implement and the directions are already available inside Shopify Secrets. You can also create custom sections inside of your theme customizer on a theme blocks theme. Because remember, it's just a collection of blocks. In my initial testing, though, it seems that you can only create full width sections and the elements have to be in the same direction. So let's say you want to create an image banner with text and 2 call to action buttons. So you would create this custom section, add a background image to be your banner, and then you could add a text block and 2 button blocks. The problem is you would need that text and the 2 buttons to either be all horizontal or all vertical. You can't have the heading or the text block be on top and have the 2 buttons horizontally next to each other underneath that. So it's really not the most helpful section builder, to be honest, but maybe this is just the first iteration. I'll be interested to see how it evolves. One of the downsides of the theme block themes is that they do require the use of new customer accounts. So you can't use the classic with them. If you go to publish a theme block theme, you'll get a notification that your accounts are going to be converted to new store accounts. If you've spent time adding sections to your customer account pages through your theme customizer, and then you want to switch to a theme block theme, you're going to have to rely on an app to add that customization now. So let me give you an example. I recently migrated a client to Shopify who sells wholesale through her store. We specifically kept her on classic accounts so that I could add dynamic content to the customer profile page when they log in. So we have wholesale specific information that will show to logged in customers if they have the wholesale customer tag. And I did this through sections in her theme customizer. Now, Shopify has been changing the way merchants can customize default pages like customer accounts, checkout, thank you, etc. And you probably got an email recently saying any old customizations you have for checkout will be going away in August, and there's new ways that you have to implement those customizations. The way they're doing it now is that you have to use apps that have built specific extensions for these pages. So for example, if you want to add a post-purchase upsell, you essentially just add an app block to your thank you and order status pages. Your rewards app probably has a block that you can add to your thank you page that will tell the customer how many points they earned with their purchase. Well, your customer accounts work the same way now. If you want to edit the customer account pages, you need an app that offers a pre-built extension that can be added to the customer account page. Now, the apps you already use, like a cross-sell or upsell app, your email app, your rewards app, they only let you add information or content blocks that are specific to that app. But I did find a Shopify app called Hubble, Hubble, that lets you add custom banners into your customer account profile page. They have a free tier to get you started, but they have a few cool additional features for the paid tiers. Going back to our wholesale example, I wouldn't be able to fit all the information I could with a section in classic accounts, but with Hubble, I can just put a banner saying, hey, for all of our wholesale terms and conditions, click here. And then I can put a button and direct them to another page. So I know this isn't a super common use case. And for the most part, you'll be able to do what you need to do with your regular apps. But if you do need to customize just the general information that's in there, Hubble is a great place to start. So should you upgrade to a Shopify theme blocks theme? In most cases, the answer is no. Like I mentioned earlier, the only people who need to think about learning theme blocks right now is if you were already planning a website redesign this year, or you're launching a new store on Shopify. And even then, it's not actually necessary if you prefer the 2.0 system or you need to keep classic customer accounts for some reason. At the time of this recording, Shopify's free 2.0 themes are still available, and no paid themes have been released on the new architecture. I don't know what the timeline for theme block releases from paid theme developers are going to be. They've had access to developer preview for a couple of years. I think I first played around with it in 2023. I could totally have that wrong, but they released it a long time ago. So my guess is developers have them ready to go. I don't know if Shopify gives specific timelines of when they can be released. I don't know enough about that. It could change a week from now. Who knows? So yes, it's out there, but the whole Shopify ecosystem hasn't caught up yet. In the meantime, though, you can install one of Shopify's new themes on your store just to poke around and get a sense of how it works. You don't have to publish it, obviously. But you can also completely ignore this and not make any changes right now at all. The next big update, and the one I am most excited about, is the release of Shopify's campaign tracking tool. You know, I love to nerd out on some data, and this tool is going to make that so much easier for every Shopify merchant. The campaign tracking tool is a centralized hub that allows you to create and track your marketing campaigns across multiple channels. So what does that mean? Let's say you're a skincare brand running a Black Friday campaign. You've got Facebook ads, email, you're working with influencers, you're posting organically on social media, you've got a brick and mortar spa, you're doing a few pop-up in-person events at local markets in your area. Trying to get a 360-degree view of that campaign and how it performed can be difficult. You'll probably forget to create UTM parameters for all of your unique links. You'll accidentally spell something differently so it won't group together in Google Analytics, and then you're going to be in a spreadsheet trying to piece it all together. Well, with Shopify's new campaign tool, you can bring it all together in one dashboard right in your Shopify admin. All right, so how does this thing work? You go into Shopify, you create a campaign, and then you essentially need to tell that campaign when you see data from this specific traffic source, assign that data to this campaign. And there's 3 different ways that you can bring that traffic data into a specific campaign. You can generate the links directly in the dashboard. You can auto-assign UTM parameters, and you can manually add traffic. So let's dive into these a little bit deeper. The first way to add data to your campaign is to generate the link directly from the campaign dashboard. So you set a destination for that link. Let's say you want to send them to your Black Friday collection, and then you can set your custom UTMs for that specific link. So you could create a custom link for each one of your influencers. You could create one for your brick and mortar store. You can create one for each individual pop-up market. So they're all going to the Black Friday collection, but they all have individual UTMs. And then in addition to it giving you the full link, it also gives you a short link. So that's just your website.com / and then it generates a short link for you. But you can also generate a unique QR code for each link you create. So those are really great for any in-person events or any printed materials. The second way to add data to your campaign is by auto-assigning specific UTM parameters. For example, let's say in your email marketing platform, you are using the campaign BF 2025 on all of your emails related to Black Friday. You can then go into your campaign tracking tool in Shopify and say any UTM that says BF 2025 should be attributed to this campaign. You could do the same for your meta ads or whatever links you've got out there. And then Shopify also gave you a fail-safe, allowing you to manually add traffic to your campaign tracking. So this is great if you see a traffic source that you know is related to this campaign, but maybe you used the wrong UTM parameter or you forgot to include them at all. So you'll be able to scroll through a list of traffic sources and manually add it to this campaign tracking. So with those 3 different ways, you can get all of your traffic from one campaign into this one dashboard. And don't worry, we're going to talk about the data that you're going to see in a minute. The other cool thing is that you can track the same traffic source across multiple campaigns. So you've got your specific promotional periods like Black Friday or Mother's Day. Cool. But you can also group together by marketing method. So let's say you're doing a whole bunch of pop-up markets throughout the year. You can create one campaign that tracks all the website traffic that comes from any links you shared at your in-person events. You could do the same thing for your influencers. Maybe you give them different links for specific promotions throughout the year, and then they have a general one that they share in non-promotional time. So you can create another campaign in the tracking tool and then see all of your influencer efforts in one place. The only thing you'll have to keep in mind is, let's say you create a bunch of custom links in your Black Friday 2025 campaign. If you were then to create another campaign to see all of your in-person efforts in one place, you'd have to manually pull in whatever link you created for Black Friday specifically, because you created it within the tool, so it's attached to that campaign. But that's okay, because you could either use the auto assign or manually pull it into the influencer campaign. All right, so now that you've got the data collected, what can you actually see? And there are 9 data points that it will give you. First, it's going to aggregate revenue, number of orders, average order value, and sessions. Then it's going to break down sales by channel, sales by UTM parameter, orders by new versus returning customers. You're going to see revenue by order and items by order. And then the campaign will also allow you to adjust the attribution model it uses, and it does use a 30-day attribution window by default. That just means once someone visits your site from one of the links that the campaign is tracking, if they make a purchase within 30 days from them visiting, it will be attributed to this campaign. This is another one I know is hard without a visual, so don't forget to check the show notes at ecommercebadassery.com/330. You can also, in Shopify admin, just go to marketing on the left-hand menu, and when you open that up, you'll see campaigns on the top. In my dev store, I can see traffic back to 2023, so you should be able to set up campaigns from your historical data and get a feel for how it works. The one thing I'm unsure about at this point, because I haven't had a chance to play with it in a live store that has a lot of data to work with, is how accurate this tracking is going to be, specifically when it comes to email. I have noticed with every client I work with that Shopify does not accurately attribute revenue to email marketing. I have clients who we know they generate a ton of revenue from email, but Shopify shows next to nothing. And no, the discrepancy cannot be explained through different attribution models. I am going to be digging into this more, and I am going to update Shopify secrets with the campaign tool, but just keep your eye on that when you're creating campaigns in your own business and you're looking at the results. It's possible that it's not going to properly track email traffic, and it may not be attributing sales to it. It's possible that because you can change the attribution model within that campaign, that you can get closer to an accurate number, but I just want you to be aware that it could be off because of that. All right, so the next update is multi-class discounts. This means you can tie a product discount, an order discount, and a shipping discount to one discount code. So let's say you wanted to do 20% off your order and free shipping for Black Friday weekend. Well, you now only need to use one discount code, and it can apply both of those discounts. There is a catch though. This is not built into Shopify natively, and you have to use an app. On their update release page, they specifically linked to 4 apps. I did install all of them and just poke around a little bit so I could give you a quick little overview, but you're definitely going to want to do a little due diligence and research to find the one that's right for you. The first one is called Discounty. It has a free plan, so this one is the least expensive to start with. But you can't assign discounts to specific customer segments or base it on a customer tag or anything like that. It only works for codes that everyone is eligible for. Then we have Discount Kit. To use the multi-class discount feature, you need the tier that's $50 a month, but you can target customers based on tags. So that's super cool if you have maybe VIP customers or something like that, and you want this code to only be available to them. The next one is called Abra, ABRA. The free tier only offers private link promotions, so they have to click a specific link. If you want public discounts or to limit them to logged in customers with specific tags, that tier starts at $99 a month. They do also have built-in banner options to show customers when their discount has been applied, which is kind of cool. And then there's Stackable. It's $19.99 a month, and it does have the ability to limit discounts to specific customers when you are using discount codes. That doesn't work for automatic discounts. If you already have a custom discount app you love, check to see if they've released this functionality yet. If not, it's probably coming down the pipeline. My guess is maybe Shopify had a special beta program that these 4 apps joined where they got access to the API earlier, or it was some special promotional thing. But I imagine other discount apps will start releasing this feature soon if they haven't already. Another exciting update, but one I recommend you take caution with, is Shopify removed the revenue requirement to participate in Shopify Collective. And if you don't remember, that is the platform that allows Shopify stores to connect and act as a drop shipper for each other. So you can join as the supplier or as the merchant. Now, on one hand, removing this revenue threshold is great because it opens up the program to smaller brands who couldn't qualify before. Right? So you have products that you want to bring into your store. You don't want to invest in inventory. You can go out and find people that can act as a drop shipper for you, or you can put your products out there and be a drop shipper for other stores. But here's what I want you to be careful about. Taking that revenue threshold away means anyone who can set up a Shopify store can become a supplier. And when you sell your products through Shopify Collective, the supplier handles fulfillment and customer service for those orders. If they don't fulfill on time, if they send the wrong products, if they provide shitty customer service, that's all going to reflect on you, your store, and your brand, even though you have no control over it. So at least with the revenue threshold, it suggested that suppliers had some experience running an e-commerce business, right? Now, not so much. So if you are considering using Shopify Collective to expand your product catalog, try and stick with people you know or people that you've built a relationship with first. When you're ready to branch out, comb through reviews, look for feedback on their shipping times, check their return policy. What are people saying about the product quality? And I recommend you place a test order or 2 so you can experience it all firsthand. Shopify's AI assistant Sidekick got some pretty significant upgrades too. It's now available in 20 languages, which is super cool. It works on the Shopify mobile app. It can also generate images and has what they're calling advanced reasoning. The advanced reasoning is probably the most helpful. You can ask it to analyze your data and give you strategies for what to do next. It'll direct you to Shopify blog articles, documentation, or sometimes just give you recommendations in the chat. I think it was the last release or maybe the one before that. I don't know. It's hard to keep up, guys. But Sidekick can also take action in your store. So if you haven't been using it for that, now is a good time to revisit it. You can have it create collections for you. You can have it edit descriptions or metadata and that kind of thing. It can create discount codes. So there's a lot of fun things it can do for you. If you are trying to do something more technical in the platform, let's say setting up a custom domain, this latest update means you can have a screen share call with Sidekick and it'll walk you through the steps. So that's pretty neat. In terms of the image generation, this is another one I would say just be careful not to get sucked in trying to create the perfect image. Yeah, there is a skill to creating prompts to make images with AI. And there is absolutely value for getting good at it. But I want to make sure it's worth your time. So if you can't get what you need quickly and you don't actually have the time to learn, don't go crazy. Find an alternative and you can revisit the AI image generation another time. If you've got a brick and mortar location, we've got some super cool POS updates. Mixed fulfillment orders is probably the biggest one. So you can now process carryout and shipping orders in a single transaction. So let's say a customer wants to buy 3 items, but you only have 2 in stock in person. Sell them the 2 they can take today, ship the 3rd one, and you can do that all in one transaction. This will be helpful for multi-location stores or if you're doing pop-up markets and you don't bring everything with you because who wants to schlep everything, right? Just makes that whole process a little bit more seamless. Store credit is now integrated with POS as well, so you can issue, accept, and refund store credit directly from the POS system. But remember, store credit is specific to new customer accounts. There's also smarter search in the POS, so it's going to handle typos and alternative spellings better. And you can now capture SMS marketing consent at checkout in the POS too. We've also got some Shopify payment updates. Apple Pay is now available as an accelerated checkout option through Shopify Payments, and it doesn't require any additional setup. Apple Pay also works for your subscriptions, which is super fun. Shop Pay installments is available in Canada now, and Shopify Payments has expanded to 16 more countries. We've also got multi-currency payouts in Europe and Australia. And a few months ago, when all the tariff things started coming to fruition, Shopify made their duties and taxes collection available for all plans. So if you do international shipping and you want to collect any duties up front so you can ship with a prepaid shipping label, you can have that added right at checkout and you don't have to be on Shopify Plus to take advantage of it. All right, we're almost there. Couple more quick updates. There's a few updates for Shopify email. You can now cancel campaigns even after sending starts. So that's super cool if you put the wrong link in there or you notice a typo or something like that. You can also include store credit balances in Shopify marketing emails. That's pretty cool. There's some analytic updates. The admin loads faster. The analytics on the mobile app have been updated, and you can use Shopify queries to pull up data. And they also released a benchmarking feature. So it's going to compare you to similar stores, which is super fun. I think it's good for a quick pulse check, but remember your goal is to be better than you were yesterday. So don't get too caught up in benchmarking. All right, friends, so that was a lot. And I know that every time Shopify does one of these updates, you feel like you have to be paying attention to all the things. But most of these updates are either small improvements to things you're already using or solving problems you don't actually have. So do your best not to get FOMO. Focus on the 1 to 3 updates that are really going to make a difference in your business. What is going to solve a problem that's right in front of you? For most of you, it's for sure going to be the campaign tracking. If you only do one thing, let it be that. For others, it could be the POS updates. It could be joining Shopify Collective. Just remember that like everything in business, it's better to do fewer things well than a whole bunch of things poorly, and this is the same. All right, friends, that is a wrap on this week's episode. Don't forget to check the show notes at ecommercebadassery.com/330 for more details about everything we talked about today. I've got some videos there for you, links for you, and take some time to just read through the Shopify update page. I didn't cover every single little thing here today, so just take a quick peruse. And on that note, I'm out. Have a kick-ass rest of your day, and I'll see you on the flip side. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you want to learn more about growing your e-commerce business, get started with my free resource library at ecommercebadassery.com/free stuff and get an invite to the Lounge, my e-commerce marketing membership. When you're ready for one-on-one support, apply to work with me at ecommercebadassery.com/apply. Before you go, would you do me a quick favor? Leave a rating and review and tap that follow button. This pushes me up the chart so I can support more scrappy e-commerce entrepreneurs just like you. I'm on a mission to reach as many as I can, and I could really use your help. Thanks so much in advance. Until next time, e-commerce friend, stay badass.